We are live. Did y'all miss us last week? You were like no show. Didn't have nothing to reference, nothing to look up. I know it's hard. I know. Give y'all some time to come on in. While you coming on in, I'll get my show notes together. Well, they're together, but I'll pull up my stuff. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. This week has been popping. What's going on, Melissa? Morning, afternoon. Natasha, morning, afternoon. This week has been popping with stuff with topics. Those that are the 300K, 500K followers, we did a live yesterday. Go check out the video. Leave us your thoughts. Let us know what you're thinking. You know, when you don't show up to the live, it's the live Q&A that you get a chance to ask whatever, right? Do it for you. When you don't come and don't have anything, just go ahead and just drop the topics that we were going to talk about. 300K is different from 500K. 500K is different from 300K. I can give you some hints. Um, on the 300K show, we talked about ownership. On the 500K show, we talked about AI and being creative, and what does it look like to create a company, how companies acquire hire. For the 100K earners, I was thinking about doing something for y'all. I had to go back and look and read something. I know 100K earners are like, when we get something, I don't know. Maybe I'll do something for y'all. It won't be a video though. Maybe we'll do like just a meet and greet so you know who's who. Melissa, did you like the 500K show? And let me know if you got a chance to look at it. Maybe we'll do a meet and greet. I was thinking about doing an in-person meet and greet. I should just put it out there. Dee don't know this. She gonna hate me for it, but that's okay. So next week, I think we all should meet in Tampa. Who's local, who could get here. Say about 7 o'clock. Well, I put out the location. I put out the location in Slack. Should all meet. Who all can make it? That's what we'll do. Nothing too formal. You don't need to come in your club attire unless you want to. Don't need to dress up or whatnot. Just come, be a part. Just have some fellowship and talk. Get to meet people. Right. Those that miss Wednesday's meetup, we have a meetup every week. We every Wednesday from 8 to 10 because I'm in Colorado, but um, that's East Coast time. So Wednesday meetup, we had hiring manager from Salesforce on, and then we also had Joe from Composable on to talk about blockchain jobs he was hiring for, how they get paid on how they actually they pay them in stable coins, and they also get paid 1099. So you're a forever contractor, which is good and bad for some people. Bad if you're bad money management and you don't go hire a financial advisor. Good if you have good money management and understand the advantages of you being an owner, right? Because that's really what they're doing. They're talking about ownership, right? You being a 1099 worker and you having a business. So again, like I said, you have to treat yourself like a business. I keep telling you all that, and understand the advantages of being a business, right? Because now you get a chance to do your backdoor Roth IRA or backdoor Roth. Um, and then also on the show on Wednesday on the meetup, they talked about Salesforce allowing you to do a backdoor where you could put in 75,000 into your 401k, right? Again, um, we talked about tax free versus um, deferred tax deferred, right? Tax free versus tax deferred. And I talked about that before on the show about the different buckets. Um, how are you going to retire? What does that look like? And I could just speak from experience, right, with RMDs, right? From with RMDs, required minimum distribution. And we're gonna get into some taxes today. Oh, we got a lot, so much to talk about. Um, with required minimum distribution, you gotta take that money, right? There's no ifs ands buts about it. But here's a caveat to that money, right? A caveat to that money: when you get the required minimum distribution, you can't throw it back into another IRA. You can't throw it back into a Roth. So you have to now figure out where can you put that money. So now you are buying stocks, or you may be rolling that money into some other purchase of an asset, such as a house or a rental or whatever the case may be. So now, when you're thinking about, well, what can you do for X, Y, and Z. Now you got to think about, like, well, what do I do with the money at 72, and I have a required minimum distribution, and it's requiring me automatically at 72, 74, 75, 76 to pull out, say, $20,000. I'm required to pull that out, which there's federal taxes on that when it pulls out. But not only is it federal taxes on it, it's what do you do with that money? Because now there's also income as well, right? Good, push you to another tax bracket. So how do you protect yourself? That's why I talked about all this in the other shows. Like, people are like, "Oh, I'm not gonna worry about that till I'm retired at 75 or 62," or some people may retire at 50. Some people retire at 30, whatever the case may be. But what do you do with a lump sum of money? And we talked about this before earlier this year when I was showing the jobs that were paying 600K, and say you get a sign on bonus of 50,000 or 100,000. It was 100,000 for a sign on bonus. What are you gonna do with that money? What are you gonna put it at? Are you gonna go blow it on a on a new toy? Are you gonna be like Future? You gonna blow it on a new toy? What you gonna do with that money, right? Are you gonna be like Rick Ross and go buy a Wingstop? Are you gonna are you gonna do like the little girl did? She went into her grandparents' stash, and they had a stash of like $10,000, and she took the money to school and gave it to her friends. She's like, money for everybody, yeah. I'm just saying, what you gonna do? All right. See, I'm trying to find that article. Grandparents, 10K loss. Let me see. Yeah, right here. 7 days ago, right here. She was 14, so she knew better. It happened in Tampa. Pull this article. I'm gonna read it to y'all. Here you go, right here. D, put it up on the screen. It says a 14-year-old student at a middle school in Florida is reportedly facing a grand theft charge after officials say she stole $10,000 from her grandparents and handed it out to fellow classmates. The girl, a student at Lake Weir Middle School in Summerfield, had handed out hundreds of dollars each to some of her fellow students on Thursday, according to the arrest report. Deputies said the Marion County responded to the school the same day. School official also found $2,500 in the girl's backpack. Investigators said the student claimed she was giving cash from a former student, but later learned that she stole $13,000, 13,500 from her grandmother's safe. The grandmother had the money in a safe. The girl now faces possible grand theft charges, the Associated Press reported. Administrators say the Lake Wire Middle School contacted the parents after the incident, advising them to take to talk to their children about the stolen money. And they tried to get the money back too, right? We would like to recover this money for the grandparents. If it said, if you speak with your children and if they have received money from the student, please turn it into our school. Good luck. Administrators added that kids who return the money, uh, return the stolen money, will not face any consequences. Why would they face consequences, right? By Friday, officials had recovered about $700 of the money that had been handed out. The money and the that money and the recovered from the girl's backpack returned to the grandmother. Why would she go do that? I have questions. Why does she know how to get in the safe? That's first. Why does she know how to get in the safe? And why they got a safe for 13,005 at home, right? And why does she know how to get in the safe? I have questions. Is she a lock picker? Does she know how to pick locks? Did they give her the code? What's going on? 13,500. What would you do with your granddaughter? Would you press charges? Would you press charges? Who's pressing charges? I just want to know who's pressing charges against their 14-year-old granddaughter who took 13,005 from them. So it's sure as y'all as the grandparents say, it's my grandbaby. It's for my grandbaby. Grandbabies can do no wrong, right? 13,005. And she what she do? She went and blew it on a new toy. She's like hundreds for everybody. Yeah, hundreds for everybody. I for the thought is we about what we about to do? Ball. We about to ball. 13,005. That money has gone to the groceries, new jeans. Take take the loss and call it the charity. I mean, yeah, it's gone. 13,005 is gone. Down payment on a lot of things. Down payment on a lot of things. Now, here's the question. Do you leave the grandbaby in the will after that? Do you leave the grandbaby in the will after that? I'm gonna let y'all think about it. We're gonna have a word from our sponsor, and then we're gonna really get into the show. Word from our sponsor coming up. Hey everybody, welcome to Women in Linux. I am Tam and Dee is in the background, and we just want to share with you some of the perks of being here on our channel. All right, so first things first, if you want to connect with us on social media, connect with us anywhere on social media at Women in Linux. If that's just too much for you, you can always come and find us on womeninlinux.org. And if that's not enough, we have even more perks where you can hit the connect button. Once you hit connect button, you put your email address in here. And once you put your email address in here, it'll connect with us in our Slack group. We have tons of resources in our Slack group. People looking for jobs, people just looking for advice, people looking for information and so forth, right? So again, this is Slack. It's not Discord. So on with using Slack, I warn you, it is resource heavy. So you may need to use either the web browser or if you're on your phone, you should be fine. But if you're on your desktop, and we know most of you connect on your computer, it's easier to open it up in your web browser so it doesn't take up so much memory or so many processes and so forth. That's just an FYI. That's how I use it. Okay. And if you would like to shop with us, we still have our stuff from our 5-year stuff. Still good. We're working on more T-shirts. No, no estate, no date. We're still working on that. But again, if you want to shop and you want to get some merch, feel free to come here and get some merch. Again, if you come over here and click on all products, you'll see on all the products that we have, from hoodies to masks and so forth and so on, right? And if that isn't good enough for you, you can donate. You can always donate with your time. You can donate with your money. So how do you donate with your time? You donate with your time by saying, hey, I would like to do a presentation, or I like to volunteer on helping us grow the channel. You retweet, you share this with other members. In fact, for those of you that come here every single week, we know you come here every single week and you don't subscribe. Subscribe. That helps us grow the channel. That helps us get more content to you. Hey, research isn't easy. I'm not getting paid to do research. I wish it was at a university, but hey, I'm bringing this to you, right? I'm bringing this to you and us and for others, right? So if that doesn't work, you can always donate on PayPal by clicking the donate button. Once you hit the donate button, you have your own denominations in which you can donate. And if that doesn't work to you, for you can always reach out to D and you can cut a check and send a check. That works for us as well. All right. So, what are some other things that we actually do have as well? Right. So, we have a discount with IT Pro TV. You get 30% off. I've used IT Pro TV myself. I've done interviews with them. I'll pull those up as well too. But as you can see, I'm logging into IT Pro TV. What are the benefits here? You need to learn how you learn. So, one of the things you can do in IT Pro TV, you can come over here, you can click on courses, and it gives you a list of courses that's separating them out by certification and also separate them out by learning paths. You're like, Tameika, what does that mean? My four basic principles or my four basic foundations of skill sets that you should have is Linux. You should also have an automation tool, whether it's Terraform or Ansible. You should know at least a cloud. I don't care. Pick either one. And finally, last but not least, security. And security comes in multiple forms: security of the operating system, security of the application, and also security of containers, right? And cloud security. So it's multiple facets when we're talking about security. Those are your four basics that you're going to need to to get you a job and then move you up. All right. And we're going to talk about our membership here in another video, but I just want to get this out to you. All right. So that's 30% off of IT Pro TV. And last but not least, our Calendly. We have set up for our Calendly. Let me pull that up. I think I have it saved in my browser here, so I can just go straight to it. If not, I'll get it from D here. Here we go, right here. All right. So with Calendly, we have one-on-one sessions. That's where you get to talk to either me or D, and you can request either one. But where you get to talk to us in a one-on-one session, right? Interview prep. Some of you are getting ready for interviews, or you've never interviewed before. We want to prep you for an interview. Resume review. Let's go over what you have, or let's pull all your skills together. Let's get things formatted properly. Let's get everything going. And last but not least, career assessment. What is your journey? What could it look like? What could you be going through? What are your next steps? Some of you are transitioning, some of you are not, some of you are looking to transition, and some of you are just trying to figure out what is your next step. So, by saying all of this, we want you to enjoy your time here at Women in Linux. And also, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the share button, and last but not least, thank yourself that you actually did it. Okay, gotta update that. We need to do that soon. I'm okay with it for right now, though. It gets the job done. Oh yeah, we gotta go back to the one-on-one sessions. Morning, Sasha. Engineering Cannabis, Black Dog 21, Melissa B. Rose, we see you. Frack Jack Mac, morning, afternoon. And D, morning as well, too. What's going on, Miss Phoenix? How you doing? All right. So we all saw the stuff with Bank of America, right? And how they were helping with home ownership, right? In particular, uh, blacks and Latinos, right? So there's when there's one, there's always another one, right? What's going on, Captain Henderson? Freddie Mac is in the building. Freddie Mac says it is helping renters use their on-time rent payments to build credit and achieve home ownership. A majority of the renters do not see their on time rental history reflected in credit reports. This puts 44 million households at a disadvantage when seeking financial products like home loans. And Freddie Mac's new program encourages property owners to report timely payments to major credit bureaus. Hmm. reaching out to a sector, right? Because I've been to apartment locations and they say they've had renters that have been in there 20, 30 years in the same apartment for 20, 30 years, just paying rent for 20, 30 years. I think after you and had a renter in your apartment for, I think, if I'm an apartment person, right? If I had a renter in there at least, I'm gonna say 10 years, I think you should be at that point. At some point, you should be capping something, or you should be or doing, like at some point you got to be like, how much higher you gonna keep going up on the rent for somebody who been in there 10 years, right? They guaranteed you get. Here's the thing, they're guaranteed to make that whatever payment that is, right? All right, so let's keep going. Households throughout the United States are feeling the pressure of rising prices on everything from gas to groceries. Housing has similarly become more expensive. Home values and rents are reaching record highs, and a lack of supply makes it more difficult to find a place to call home. Now, I want to say this because I got into an argument this morning. Well, not argument. I don't want to call it an argument. I got into a conversation, an evolving conversation. Let's say that. It was an evolving conversation. And the conversation was about living in the South. And it was, can you live in the South and make $100,000? And the person was saying, you cannot live in the South and make $100,000. And I said, well, what South do you live in, sir? What are you considering the South? It was, I don't know if it was an exchange. It was more or less like a limited view of the world. Um, that person came from the oil field, so making $100,000 to them with the knowledge that they have in the oil field industry was hard. And the person was a business owner. I said, well, you're speaking from such a limited knowledge, or you have limited knowledge on what I'm talking about, because you yourself as a business owner can't pay $100,000, but someone who works at a corporation such as a Home Depot or Delta or Walmart, who and those companies are in the South, can make $100,000 in IT. You can go work at Chick-fil-A in IT and make 100,000, right? So that thank you, Miss Phoenix, for the 21. We salute you. That, yeah, your tech ties. We appreciate you and your tech ties, right? Um, what we're saying, what I'm saying is this, which is a bigger picture. And we're gonna get back to this article. And this article, they tie in. Don't let one person's myopic view of the world stop you from making or succeeding in life and making money and providing ownership and wealth to others, right? We see the layoffs, right? You see Sneak, SYNK laid off, I think, 1,000 people, or laid off a certain percentage of their staff. We see Intel is laying off their staff. We see other things laying off their staff, right? And all of this, and I keep telling y'all all of this all the time, you don't ever see from a government contracting side the layoffs unless you're working at Boeing. In the tech space, I've been in it 22 years. I just have not seen, like, oh, we laying you off because we're not growing no more as a company. I don't see that. So if you're gonna work in tech, just and this is my myopic view here, from what I have seen, work with companies that do work with the federal government. That's just my myopic view, right? Right? This is just my myopic view. The reason why I say that is because those companies tend to in general keep feeding you. right? I just my thoughts, right? Melissa says, yes, you can live in the South and make 100K to millions. Yes, the belief and the exposure has impacted their belief. Donald Watts, take that. We'll come through with the 200. I want to say cash out, but about 200, $200 super chat. We appreciate you so much. Um, we again, none of this like goes to line our pockets. It goes to bring in people to help get y'all jobs, right? Like that's what we do on Wednesdays, right? You and again, I just talked to Natasha about this while we was on our intermission there, from a word from our sponsor, and on that Wednesday show, um, James stated he was like, you inspired me to go into management. And listen, let me tell you something. I have no idea who I inspire. I don't know when I inspire people. I don't know who I influence. I don't have an idea, right? I don't have an idea unless you tell me, right? But what I do know is, and what I do understand is this. I do understand where the money is at. I do know where people are moving towards, and I just bring that to you. Now, if you don't get inspired by that and you don't move forward with that, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you, right? I can only tell you where the money is at, and I can only show you the people who are in the arena to connect you with in order to make the money. If you don't do anything after that, there's nothing else I can do. I can't make you get the job, right? And Donald, we got to have our conversation about your $50 million plan. We gotta have our conversation about your $50 million plan. We I haven't forgotten about that. I've been waiting to see people's plans. I've been waiting to see people plan. I really want to see your plan. Um, it's 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 so funny. I hope people took away from the last conversation that we had about being able to pitch anything and command the room. It's so important. Oh my God, it's so important. But I don't know. You got to be here when we're talking. You got to get the books. You got to get the references. Oren Claff is the person that I'm referring to, but there are many others out there. He's just one of the ones that like is a go-to for most of anything that I've seen around pitching, around funds. If you go look at Bigger Pockets, he's got a couple of things on there. If you go look at if you just go look him up, period, if you go talk to anybody about private equity funds, uh hedge funds and so forth, his name comes up all the time, right? um I'm trying to tell them, engineering academies, federal government contracting is growing. DOE, DOD, DOJ, Homeland Security. um, the money is there, and you don't have to. In some cases, not in all. In some cases, you don't need a clearance to work and to work for some of these companies. Sometimes, in some cases, they're dropping the clearance aspect and just want you to be a U.S. citizen and just do the work. And this was the other argument. The other argument was, if you work a job that's 100K, all your time is going to be working that 100K job, and that's just not true. That's just not true. It's just that's what automation is. That's what automation is. That's what automation is, right? Automate yourself so you can free up your time. That's what it is, right? Other one says, said Frack Jack Mack said the pandemic opened the eyes and minds of companies to value a remote and hybrid workers, right? And so that's why I was saying, I was like, I live in the South and I make over 100,000. What are you talking about? You could do that, but again, you got to know what companies are in the South. And I asked, what is considered the South? Like Georgia, Florida. So you mean tell me Delta is based out of Georgia and you can't make 100,000 working at Delta? Yeah, okay. So does what you call it is based out of Florida. I mean, not of Florida, but Georgia, but out of the South is Home Depot. No Before is based out of Florida. Who and we're gonna I'm gonna bring that up. Uh, we have Value Pack, Nielsen. There's also Microsoft is in Atlanta. There's a couple of Amazon is there. Um, Home Depot, Amazon. What is the it used to be called Survey Monkey, and now they're called something else. They're based out of Georgia. They pay over 100K. Um, we have if we go over to Huntsville, that's federal contracting. If you go to Augusta, that's federal contracting. If you come to Florida, that's federal contracting. If you go to Orlando, it's federal contracting. Your Lockheed Martins, your khaki, your and I can think of a ton of places that are not federal contracting that also pay 100K. And so I'm at a loss as to just in tech in general as a beginner. Um, there are jobs that even at the service desk start out at some jobs at the service desk start out at 40, some start at 55, some start at 60, some start at 70. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Are we limiting ourselves to say, oh, if I live in the South, I gotta have a job in the South? Well, Amazon is based out of Seattle area, right? Tesla just moved to Austin. Is Austin considered the South or is the Southwest? Like, what are we talking about here, right? Um, when we're talking about the amount of money that can be made. I don't know. So again, stop letting people scoop you into the idea of there's no money out here. Yeah, it's a recession, but in tech and the skills that I'm talking about, we're talking about recession proof. That's just what it is. Again, shout out to Miss Phoenix and shout out to Donald Watts. We appreciate you all. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate everybody for coming every week, right? Every week you come, give you nothing but real truths and whatnot. And if people don't believe that, again, like I tell you, time and time again, fact check me, right? If I give you something about taxes and stuff, it's from the IRS. It's a video and there's follow up. Let's go to the IRS. Let's fact check what I'm reading in real time. So you can be like, well, Tam went to the IRS. You can't dispute the I, the R, and the S. You just can't, right? That's all I'm saying. Engineer Cannabis saying what I'm seeing, what I am seeing people bid $2 million contracts for HR for data analytics consultant for DOD all day, every day. All day, every day. That's right, D. South, Alabama, Arkansas, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky. And I got a video, speaking of West Virginia, of how people are making an influx to West Virginia. I said this before. West Virginia has a 75-mile tech corridor. And I'm going to bring up receipts from my own emails on jobs that were 20 this was 2018 and I said this a long time ago. Pocatello, Idaho and West Virginia were the two places where people were moving to, federal contracting wise. And they were asking people at that time, this is what recruiters would say. How much do you want to make? How much do you want? I'm like, you asking me how I want? How much do I want? Like, that's the conversations that I want y'all to start being able to have. It's like, oh, this job pay is offering 140 to 150 or 160. I want you to be able to start having conversations with a recruiter. Ask me, how much do you want? Now, the question is, how much do you think you're worth? Drop in the comment section in tech. How much do you think you're worth? I appreciate you, Stephen Day. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. How much do you think you're worth? And be realistic about it. Just talking about working for a job, not you owning something. How much do you think you're worth? If somebody asks you that as a recruiter, how much do you think you're worth? I want to see. I want to see what numbers y'all putting down. Because if anybody that's been here should automatically know what the minimum base should be on this channel when we talk. You should know. I'm gonna see what y'all got to say. I'll wait. I just want to see. Don said $50. Hey, you donated more than that. Engineering cannabis 600K minimum. I'm with you. Frat Jack Matt 150. All right. 200K. Healthy G. You already know what it is. Frat Jack Matt. You need to change that to 200K. Should be at your minimum. That should be your minimum. There's reasons for that. Accredited investors being able to invest, being able to be in the room, putting you in different rooms. Period. That's it. Should be a minimum of 200K. Right. All right. Reason why I asked you all that, because a recruiter will ask you that one day if they haven't already. And they're going to ask you, how much do you think you're worth? How much do you think that you deserve to earn on this particular job? And don't, like I said before, you're going to get assholes. Some asshole recruiters out there. They're human. They're human assholes, right? All right. Natasha, you already know. Natasha, you already know. Natasha, I'm expecting big things out of that Salesforce Connect. I'm expecting big things. Helmet, 210, I'm with you. You got to be at a minimum of 200K, right? That should be your min. That's your goal, right? That's your goal. You can go to Investopedia and look up accredited investors. There's other ways, but that's your goal. So let's get back to it. All right, Freddie Mac. Make rent count towards your credit score. For millions of households that do not own their home, the largest monthly payment they'll make is usually rent, and it is often their first financial priority. Yet, unlike homeowners who make regular mortgage payments, renters generally do not see their on time rent payments reflected in their credit score. Worse yet, the most common way rent payments impact credit scores are missed rental payments go into collection. Freddie Mac wants to flip that script. The mortgage finance company's multifamily division developed a program to help renters build credit by encouraging owners and operators of multifamily properties to report on-time rental payments to all three major credit bureaus in compliance with the industry standards. Right? The initiative helps multifamily owners immediately report up to 2 years of the rental's on-time payment history, resulting in a positive impact on credit scores right away. After enrollment, the renter's on time payments are reported to the credit bureaus each month. The program automatically unenrolls a renter when a missed payment occurs, preventing a negative impact on their credit score. Recent payments are often the single largest monthly line item in a family's budget, but paying your rent on time does not show up in the credit report like a mortgage payment. That puts the 44 million households who rent a significant disadvantage when they seek financing for a home, a car, or even an education. While there remains more to do, this is a meaningful step to addressing the age-old problem. To make the reporting process easy, Freddie Mac has engaged with ESU right here. I guess Etsusu. Let's go. We're gonna check them out. Let's see. We report rent payments to major credit bureaus to help renters boost their credit scores, all while owners and property managers maximize returns. Right? See, let's go about. I just want to see if they got people. Well, here you go. Founded in 2018 by We Mimo, Abby, and Samir Gold, Su, I guess Esusu, Isusu, was built to include everyone on the journey from financial identity and ability towards financial wellness that leads to wealth building. Boom, right there, wealth building, right? In the U.S., and this is small, I'm blow it up some. In the U.S., credit is your lifeline for the financial system. To date, 45 million plus Americans lack credit scores, and millions are marginalized due to their background, race, and zip code. Our mission is to dismantle barriers to housing for working families. We believe housing is a fundamental right, and we envision a world without delinquency, housing innovations, and ultimately homelessness. Right. So that's them. And then let's go back up, make that a little smaller. Let's go look and see if they got careers, right? Let's see what kind of jobs they have. All departments, they have jobs for internal communication specialist, enterprise account executive. They got a marketing, life marketing, marketing manager, retention, and account manager. Don't look like they have engineering positions as of yet, right? And these are the jobs that are remote because I just switched it to remote. All right. So that's I wonder where they're based out of. Let me go back. See company about. They may just all be remote. They may not have a hard location. And then it's who their investors are. Serena, the Global Good Fund. I wonder. They don't seem like they invested out of. They don't seem like they're out of the U.S. Here's their integrated partners: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Mm-mm. Let me see. Contact about rent relief FAQ. And who is eligible for rent relief, what process to receive funds, property manager FAQs, so forth and so on, right? It's their site. So this is who Freddie Mac, that's who Freddie Mac partnered with, right? It's a leading financial technology platform that enables property owners to seamlessly deliver on-time rental payment data for from their property management software directly to the credit bureaus, right? So you, as a property owner, right, after you get your $100,000 in your sign-on bonus, go purchase a multifamily unit or a house, either or, right, something, duplex, whatever, and then you take that money and you put it into a rent a you take that money and put it into to that property or whatever you're gonna do, and then take that and then set up your accounts with Susu so you can get so they can get the rental point. And basically, you can help create a cycle of people moving in your place and then moving out of your place, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's just a idea, right? This new approach has already been proven successful. Since Freddie Mac began the initiative last year, 86,000 households across more than 900 multifamily properties have enrolled. More than 18,000 new credit scores have been established. Approximately two-thirds of the renters with existing credit scores saw their scores increase. Right? What is it like to meet someone? You're out and about and you all are talking to each other, right? And you're getting to know each other, and you ask this. The question is, "What's your credit score?" Because people do ask you that on dates. I don't know what dates y'all been on. I've been on, and people will ask you your credit score, right? And you say your credit score is a 530, and you're renting a room, right? But the person in you and that person got has great chemistry. Do you still date the person, or do you work with the person and help them build up their credit score? What do you do? Have questions. Or do you say, hey, here's some good options for you to help you build up your credit score? It's been good, nice knowing you. Just asking, do you cut them off? Right? Man or woman, don't matter. Right? You got D says she got more questions. What you got more questions on? So if your credit score is 350, is the day over? I'm asking because people do ask questions like, "What's your credit score?" I've been on dates where people ask you what's in your 401k. Do you have one? Do you know what that is? I've been on. Hey, you be surprised what people ask you. Whether I stay or work with them can't be determined yet. Can't be determined yet? Okay. Okay, when does it get determined? Do you need to sit back and watch someone's financial habits, or does the 530 credit score already tell you their financial habits? I'm asking. I'm asking. Elma said I'm giving them options and you out. I'm asking, what do you do? You're on a date. Y'all have this conversation. Y'all been dating for, let's say, 3 weeks, and the person wants to know more about your financial history, what things, because we're people are dating for marriage these days, right? Or at least they should be. At least they should be, right? So what do you do with someone? You meet them. They say hey, y'all are having this financial conversation, this financial journey, because you're trying to see if that lines up. And you're like, hey, I'm at a 530, and I'm working on my score. I'm working on getting it there. All right. Brown Eye says I can't. I'm out. You have to know why. You won't do anything below 550. I don't know. I don't know. This gets touchy. This gets touchy. Is there a BK, no credit, low score, divorce, medical bills, student loan? Don't matter what it is, D. The question is, are you out? Are they receptive to taking action to correct this? I don't know. They could be. They could be. Start off with your credit report and see if you can handle it before you go further into financials. Basically, right? So here's what I'm saying. Everybody date people and leave people for different reasons, right? But at the same token, the question becomes is, can you work with someone if you have, say, good to excellent credit and they got bad poor credit, right? Bad to poor, poor to bad credit. Are you able to work with someone and help them build up their credit score? And the question is, do you have the patience to help someone do that? That's another thing you have to ask yourself. Do you have the patience to help someone do that? And then the next question is the person not just open to suggestions, but also is the person open to changing their habits, right? They could be open to suggestions, but they may not be open to changing their habits. You said why is the date we talking about? You might have been again. When I lived in DC, conversations started off like, what do you do, where do you work at, and what's your 401k, right? Again, depends on engineering cannabis. It depends on what you dating for. If you come in and you just dating and we just gonna see where this goes, then no, you're probably not talking about that. But if you're dating for a purpose and you're dating for marriage, you guarantee somebody's gonna be asking about your finances, man and woman, right? Like, again, I know y'all seen that video clip where the guy see the girl in the grocery store, and he's like, ooh, he's like, ooh, she's looking fine. And then he look at her, and then the next thing you know, he's like, he clocking her earrings, he counting that up. Then he looking at her purse, and he counting how much that costs. And he looking at her shoes, and he's like, out of my budget. And he turns around and walks off. You best believe that men and women both look at each other and be like, how much does that cost? They do it all the time. They look at your glasses, they looking at what you got on, they looking at this, they looking at that. People look at people and count up stuff. Trust me, they do. Trust me, they do. He said, Snuggle 668 said you could date them if they allow you to assist them in building up their credit, because that would show a person is willing to take responsibility for their failure and action that will be needed. Helmut says if they don't want to change, If they don't want to change, bad credits likes likes getting roots put on you. It is. Mary said in Texas, the men absolutely ask if you are healthy. They're not trying to pay the expense of high medical costs either. I'm telling you, it happens. I don't know what dates y'all been on where people don't ask you about your credit scores, or if they don't ask you about your finances. I'm telling you, as a woman, men ask these questions. They ask. Now you'll meet some men that say they don't care about what how much money you make or your financial history or whatnot until 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 y'all have been dating for amount of time and things get serious, and then they looking like, "Man, you going through money like it ain't nothing." But now you done been with the person for a year, 2 years. Yeah, you've been with the person for a year or 2 years. But people do ask these questions, and they do ask them up front, and they do ask them within the first 30 days. It has happened, right? It don't always happen, but it does happen, right? And they not just asking about your 401k. They're asking about credit scores. They're asking about family. How are you, or do you need to pay for your family? Oh well, that's a whole nother thing. Dating is tough. Asking a credit score, finances, 401k, are we on a date? Am I speaking to a financial planner with a cocktail? Nope, nope. Engineering cannabis, you married, you out the game. You can't speak to it. Don't make sense to you. You married, you out the game. You out the game. What I'm telling you is, as a person who's married, a person who is single, they ask these questions. Yeah, the aging parents living with us. Yeah, who on your payroll? Are your parents financially independent? These questions come up. They do. And let me tell you something. I'm not mad that they do. Honestly, I'm not mad that they do. I'm not mad that they do. At least give. See, I think we get out of this. I think we have to get out of this fairy tale, right? Of like, finances don't matter. They do, right? Finances matter. If finances didn't matter, then you wouldn't be worried about your credit score. If you ain't worried about your credit score, stop paying your bills. See what happens. If you're not worried about finances, stop paying your bills on time. You ain't worried about that credit score. You could care less, or you could not care at all. Let me say it properly for those that hate people using care less. You could not care at all if you go apply for a loan and they hit you with the we'll give it to you, but shooby dooby, mm, mm, we're gonna hit you with 20% on this loan. You know what I'm saying? How much you put down. That's right. Knowing upfront can save you a hell of a lot. Thank you, Helmet. People don't want to be realistic. They want to be like, that's too serious too soon. Right. And then you find out that the guy you dating is taking care of his mom, who may be sick or whatnot, which is not a bad thing. But he's also taking care of his brother and his daddy, and they all live in the house with him. And he's like, but my house, they ain't got nothing to do with me and you. In fact, he may be like, they're a package deal. In fact, they may be like, they're a package deal. My mama, my daddy, and my brother are a package deal. Your daddy told you right. And people like, oh, you put too much emphasis on finances. Look, stop, stop going to work. Stop worrying about your credit score and see how far you get. Stop paying your bills on time. I'm gonna give you a year. We're gonna note this day, October the 29th of 2022. Come back. Stop paying all your bills. Stop going to get skills, and come holler at me in fact, we won't even give it a year. Come holler at me in 6 months. Come and holler at me in 30 days. See what happens. See what happens. Let me know. Remember, I may look like Barney right now, but remember, I love you. You love me. We're one big family. And then I break it down to the rap side. The knick knack patty whack, give a dog a bone. Hey, hey. Okay, explain. All right. My father told me not to marry a man who didn't have more than I have. I didn't listen. Brown eyes. What had happened was, right? I'm telling you. So I'm excited for this program from Freddie Mac, right? I'm excited about it. I'm not necessarily excited about who is doing it, but I'm excited about it, right? I'm not excited about who is doing it, but however, they partner with them. They didn't buy them. So you as a business owner or as a multifamily owner can do the same thing. I implore you to do that. In fact, go out and check them out. I implore you to do that. Go out and check them out. Donna Watt said, aren't financial issues one of the main things that end marriage? I'm just saying is wow that people would actually say you worry about finances too much. Oh yeah. It's one of the things. In fact, let me say this. Let me say this. Finances are the reasons why you have sexless marriages. Let me say that. Let me say that. Let me say that. I'm even go on a limb and put it out there and say it's probably like 60% part of the problem why you have sexless marriages. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna put 60% on it. 60%, maybe even might even be 70. Mary said, I dated a guy who was taking care of his parents and his sister who was married, and he made around 350K. But when you deducted all his expenses, I was his come up. He was looking to leverage me. Yeah, help me, help you, help me, help you. That's where it came out to. But trust me, tr- bet your bottom dollar. The people complain about marriage and then they were like they don't have sex after they get married. Well, I think that needs another evaluation of why things happen or why that happens. It's not that somebody is holding back, right? They might have gotten into a marriage and you might have did a 360. There are a number of things that happen, but at the same token, I bet you finances is part of that sexless marriage, right? Either you're too tired to do it, and that happens, or you're not too tired to do it, but doing it doing doing it ain't doing it, and the lights is cut off is two different things. Being on a budget and eating beans and rice is two different things because that's all you can afford, right? And I'm not telling you you're not going to struggle in a marriage. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is this: you need to limit the amount of times you struggle in a marriage. You can't be married and for 20 years and you struggle 20 years. It just don't make sense. It don't make for a happy marriage. You try struggling all your life. And some of you may have been struggling all your life. And some of you may have not, and you struggle for a certain amount of time. But ask yourself, have you been happy? Has your blood pressure been low? Have you not had migraines? Have you been able to go to the doctors when you needed to? Have you had the ability to do those things? Have you had basic human needs and rights of life in order to do those things, right? To take care of yourself, right? Can you eat the proper foods? Can you are you a, are, is that even in your area? These are things that we just gotta have on a conversation when we don't want to have that. We want to beat around the bush. Finance, I guess, matters to men, is what you're saying, or women believe that anyone who says men do not care about a woman's finance is a lie. I, engineering mechanics, I can't speak for all men, and I'm not going to speak for any man. I'm just going to tell you that as a woman who has been married to a man in a relationship, money mattered from his perspective and my perspective. And I don't know of any marriages that I have seen where money did not matter. I just never seen that, right? I didn't say it was the bottom line thing. I'm saying I've never seen where it did not matter. Back in the day when I was married, my ex didn't pay rent and I didn't talk to him for a whole month. Never mind having sex. Again, I'm trying to tell y'all, you want to know why marriage becomes sexless. I'm telling you, part of the issue is finances. No one wants to ever say that, right? Because everybody want to put on these rose-colored glasses. And hold on, let me get my rose-colored glasses. Hold on, let me get my rose-colored glasses right here. Hold on. Let's get my rose-colored glasses right here. Let me put my rose-colored glasses on. No one wants to say the truth about finances do matter in a household. No one wants to say the truth. No one wants to say that if you come home, or better yet, let's not even say you go home. You come home. Let's say you go to the grocery store as a man, or even as a woman, and you go to check out, and you like do. Me and my boo gonna have a little steak and potatoes tonight. I got us a little wine. I'm gonna hook it up. I got my shallots. I'm about to do this thing. Boom, 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 boom. And you go and swipe that card, and they say, "Oh, that's declined." You be like, "What? Hold on, well, I got another card. Maybe something going on with that one." Swipe, that's been declined too. I got one more. Well, now you getting agitated because now you already agitated off the first one because maybe you put in a pin wrong, or maybe the card expired. Or maybe you didn't put the money on there that you thought you put on there. Maybe you hit the wrong. You didn't submit when you transferred funds, and then you go to swipe that third card, and they like that's declined too. So now you feeling some type of way. You like now I got to put this back. You done held up the line, so now you were like, oh, okay, well maybe something going on with my cards and stuff. I'm gonna walk over to the ATM at the grocery store. This ain't my bank, but that's all right because I'm really trying to do this for my wife or my significant other. And you go to the ATM and you put your card in and you like and you try to pull out the money and they say what? It's gonna be a $2.50 service fee on these. You like, yeah, damn that. I'm balling. Mm, I'm balling, right? And you put it in, you put that little, you like, yeah, okay, I accept that. And then you go and you like, well, let me just check the balance because maybe I'm mistaken. Surely the cashier and the system is not wrong. It's no way that this POS system is wrong. And you go check it, and it says negative $300. And you're like, what? How is it negative? How is it negative? How is it negative? Then you like, I'll deal with that later. But let me check that other card that I swiped. And you go check that. And that said, like, babe, ain't nothing. It's $0 in there. It ain't negative, it's just $0. And then you like at this point you ain't gonna check that third card because you still mad at that first card because it was negative 300 and this other one is zero. And I ain't go and you ain't gonna just do it to yourself and check the third card. Now you storm out. You mad in the mug. You mad in the mug. What you gonna do? Hey, check this out. Check this out. Hey. I'm at the grocery store and it's saying that the balance, I just checked it, is negative 300. And I checked this card here that we got over here at Chase, and it said it's zero balance in there. Hey, what happened? What's going on? And the person on the other end says to you, "That's not my problem. Figure it out." What was you at the grocery store for anyway? What you mean? What I was at the grocery? Figure it out. What you talking about? Right? So that person gets home, but that person who already at home has been waiting for you, and now you coming in the house because now you got even a bigger attitude. You done drove through traffic. You mad in a mug. You know how the grocery store be. You trying to get out of the grocery store. The person walk out. They ain't looking. You about to hit them. You know, you maneuvering through. You're leaving Kroger or Publix or Giant or Shoppers or whatever. Or Walmart if you shop at Walmart. Whatever the case may be. Costco, Sam's. You know how I go. You leaving, and now you're facing the traffic. You're getting even more steam. Now the person that nonchalantly blew you off, this, that, and the other, and you get home finally, and the person was like, "What was you doing at the grocery store?" Y'all have a little conversation, this, that, and the other, and you like, "Where the money at? Like, what happened to it?" And they're like, "Babe, don't worry about that. I ain't even want no steak. This, that, and I know you was trying to surprise me. I didn't even want no steak." And then they start kissing on you. And now they start rubbing on you, and it's a baby boo boo da boo boo doo 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 doo, warming you up, smearing butter and slathering you up. Why? Cause they want some. They want a little bit. Now ask yourself, are you ready to get that up? Or you just gonna do it? Some I'm not gonna get how I want to get on here, but I'm gonna say some of y'all might do it, but I'm just gonna say all that broke affection. That's right. We need to take a moment. I'm just saying this is how it happens. Nobody's never gonna tell you that it ain't gonna happen that way. People gonna sugarcoat you and tell you that, oh my goodness, the finance don't matter, it don't matter. The man gonna go out there and make all this money, and he gonna do this, and the woman she gonna do this, and the man gonna do this, and everybody got all these rose-colored dreams and high hopes. And let me tell you, marriage could be so awesome, right? It could be so awesome. It could be so loving. It could be so thing. But you gotta remember, if you don't have any, if you don't have the finances taken care of, not to mention you don't have finance taken care of, and somebody blow you off and they lie to you, we ain't doing that. I'm just telling you. I don't know a man that will be excited about that situation, and I don't know no woman that will be excited about that situation. I just don't. Call it what you want. Yep. And he said, Helman said, I ain't got time for it. If I can't buy a Gatorade after that, that's what I'm saying. It's not like marriage is bad and people act like finances don't matter in marriage. It matters. And it also, and this is where I was going with this whole conversation. The idea that you and your guy or you and your woman or significant other, however you want to break this down, or in an apartment renting, and you all can't seem to put away the 30, 40,000 dollars that is needed to put in a down payment on a home. This is where this helps you at, right? This is where that program helps you at. Am I excited about the people from Freddie Mac? Not really. However, I am excited for a company like, I guess it's called Isuzu, right? I am excited for them doing something of that nature, and maybe a landlord being able to showcase that you have had good rental history. You do understand XYZ. You can help me with my credit score so that we can qualify for a better loan, so we can get better rates, so we can qualify for something, right? We can go to the NACA program. If you are a military vet, you can be enrolled in a program. I think you need a minimum score of 620, right? Right? Maybe one person is able to apply for that. Maybe you save the other person and you both don't go on that loan, and you can do something else with the other person's credit to go buy another house or create an LLC or something of that nature, right? Like we got to get out of that mindset that these finances don't matter, right? We got to get out of the mindset that these finances don't matter. D says we've been on for 110. Is that not true? We've been on for an hour, right? Hour 11 minutes. Oh, well, you saying our show starts at 2? That's what you're trying to say? Yeah, I got you. Man, I want to push that to 2:30. I ain't finished yet. He says, "What do I need with a broke joker?" I don't know. It depends. Is he broke for just that time period, or is he broke? He's been broke a long time, right? I think everybody has their tolerance threshold, right? And what's considered broke, right? It says this is why courtships are important. Save yourselves time and future pain and headache. I think conversations are important. I think sometimes you do better by observing versus talking, right? I think you do better by observing versus talking. Watch how people spend their money. Watch where they spend their money at, who they spend their money on, what they do when they go out. Keep a mental note of that. I think every man and every woman does that. Too many stories of folks taking out whole families if they can't take care of them financially. Yep. So these are just different things that I'm referring to that happens. People don't want to be realistic about what goes on financially in relationships, marriages in particular, right? Um, See, and this one here is says making rent count towards a mortgage, just as renters are not reaping the benefits of on-time rent payments when it comes to their credit score. They're facing similar challenge when looking for a mortgage at first-time home buyers. That's what I was saying. To help us with this, Freddie Mac recently announced that it would change its standards to take into account on-time rental payment history as part of the loan purchase decisions. Freddie Mac doesn't lend directly, but instead purchases loans that meet specified criteria. The company's decision to allow lenders to to factor in positive rent payment history would make it easier for first-time homebuyers to obtain a mortgage. This is extremely important initiative. Will help many renters move closer to achieving the dream of home ownership. Um, that right there, that comes with a lot. Dream of home ownership. Millions of Americans adults lack a credit score or have a limited credit history. That's true. Limited credit score, and I mean limited credit history and a lack of credit score. I started out. I had a lack of credit score when I got married. I can be honest with that. I can be honest with that. Right? By factoring a borrower's responsible rent payment history in our automated underwriting system, AI, right? Automated, right? We can help make homes possible for more qualified renters, particularly in underserved communities. You know where they was going with that, right? You already know black home ownership. Um let's see, it says black home ownership is at 43.4%, remains lower than what it was a decade ago. And it is 30 percentage points behind white ownership at 72%. That was on February 25th, right? We already know that, right? We already know there's a gap. But even larger than that, that there's a gap. Um, a lot of people that are multifamily owners really thrive off of low income housing. And from the perspective of, I know that if I supply low income housing, Section 8 is going to pay me monthly on time. So I know that I'm going to have on time payments every single month. And I don't have to do a lot in order to get that money, right? In order to maintain it. Like I don't have to maintain the property that much. And I hear that a lot. If you're in the fund spaces, that's one of the biggest things that they talk about. They don't talk about going to own a home in on the waters in Miami. The first thing they was like, man, you got to get in the low income spaces. You got to go buy the houses in the low income areas. So they making money off of you consistently on time, but yet and still we'll have these arguments that finances don't matter. We'll have these dumb arguments, right? Just saying. Is either you gonna get in the game or you gonna be the game in the game, really. It's up to you. Mary said there are already a way to add rental payments to your credit history. Rental Karma is one company I know of. Man, we don't trust rental. It's a not Credit Karma. I'm like I know we don't trust Credit Karma. Yes, everywhere you rent now have the rental history being added to your credit history. Um, Pop that score up until you get ready to own your. Yep. We're way behind. Section in low end, good cash flow. Yep. Paying during the pandemic. Yep. Let's go back over here. It says, in addition, Freddie Mac has a number of additional resources for consumers to learn about credit building, the home buying process, and finance options. All right, let's to be controversial here, because that's who I am. I have questions, right? I have questions. Oh, it's a lot of info in here. I have questions. All right, so this gonna be a trigger, and it's gonna have some debates back and forth. It's all good. Let's ask this question: does your race stop you from getting a job? Does your race stop you from getting a job and moving forward? Let's ask that. What are your thoughts? I know, controversial. I know, in some points. Does it? Is the reason why you didn't get that job is because you were a certain race? Just want to know where you at. What you think? What's your thoughts? It definitely can. Okay. What does it depend on, engineering cannabis? What does it depend on? I'm willing to have the conversation. I'm willing to have the conversation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No rejection, just redirection. Okay. Definitely can be a factor. All right. Reason why I brought it up is because of this article. It says I was a writer on The Office, but ended up selling shirts at Macy's, landing a let me put it on the screen here. Landing another TV writing job after the hit show was shockingly hard, and my race absolutely had something to do with it. Right? Anthony Q. Farrell, for I guess Farrell, is a Canadian writer, producer, and showrunner. Anthony Q. Farrell is a showrunner and executive producer who used to be a writer on The Office. After a successful run on the show, he couldn't land another writer's room job for over 2 years. Farrell shares how staying creative got him through the tough time that led him to the second big break. Right. This is a story. This is an as told story. Essay is based on a conversation with Anthony Q. Farrell, a showrunner and producer who was a staff writer on The Office from 2008 to 2009. Excuse me. I was a writer on The Office for 2 seasons back in 2008 and 2009. It was my first TV writing job. I started off in theater, acting, writing, and directing. That led to comedy school where I did stand up, improv, sketches, and I eventually got into writing. When I moved to LA, a friend who liked my writing introduced me to his manager. A few years later, I got my job on The Office through NBC's diversity program. Right. Working on The Office was a really good experience. I was told from the beginning that I was there for a reason and not to be afraid to contribute ideas as at the writers table. I was one of the few people of color in the writers' room, but I never felt shut down or anything like that. I jumped right in and was pretty vocal whenever I felt I had to be. Overall, the office was one of the better writer rooms in terms of having at least a few people of different cultures and ethnicities. It had more people of color in this writers' room than most of the shows at the time, not counting the show about people of color. There was me, Ryan Cole, Mindy Kaling, and then Halstead Sullivan, who joined while I was there on season 5. Normally, there's maybe one person of color in our world, right? It was good to be around great writers and soak up as much as I could from them, right? It was laid off in 2009, right? He said, I thought it was, I'm skipping some. He said, I thought it was, if they were going to let Paul Feig go, who's a big deal, then I couldn't possibly feel bad. The show offered to give me any references I would need. Even to this day, if I still needed to give references, I could. I could reach out to Greg Daniels, Paul Lieberstein, or Jennifer Salata, and they would happily sing my praises. So I walked away from the job feeling pretty good, but being let go was still a shock, especially to my finances. On The Office, I was making the Writers Guild of America minimum, which back then was a little over $3,000 per week. I grew up in a lower middle class, so 3,000 times four, 12,000 a month. So roughly, right? 12 times 12, 144, 150K, right? Up in lower middle class home, and before The Office, I was an assistant making around 30,000 a year. I finally gotten to the point where I could make a good living doing what I love, and I gotten used to it. To make matters more complicated, I had a daughter who was born right before I got the job on the show, so she was 2 years old, and when I got let go. I wasn't initially worried about here we go with the finances. I wasn't initially worried about getting another job because I thought I'd be fine. Industry people who wouldn't have been open to a meeting with me before were very open. Now because I had a job on The Office. This right here is so distracting over here. This recommended video. What happened instead was after the Writers Guild strike, all the writers' room shrunk. It wasn't really difficult. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was a really difficult time in the industry. There was no space for me. I went from being on the hottest TV show to being nowhere. I definitely started wondering if I was ever going to land a second job. Pretty. I'm generally a pretty positive person, and I always put a positive spin on things. But this was really challenging. Paul Fett and Lester Lewis had such long careers, so they already had projects going on. Ryan Cole started working again fairly quickly as well. When layoffs happened, I was in the process of developing two different series I had created for CBS Studios and Disney XD. I was thinking, okay, maybe one of these will move forward, and I will get to create my own shows and be perfect time, and it'll be perfect time. Unfortunately, those projects fizzled out. I got paid to write scripts. That was nice, but now what? I was taking a lot of meetings, but there was no movement toward my next writing gig. It was surprisingly to me that after going on a show, what was surprising to me after writing for a show like The Office, it was relatively diverse in a relative diverse writers' room that I wasn't able to land another TV writing job. The writers' room for The Office had two diversity participants, including myself, which was uncommon, and Greg Daniels requested that extra spot. Unfortunately, that interest in diversity shown by Daniels wasn't the norm for other rooms I was now interviewing for. Now it's about your skill set, right? And maybe who you know. Looking back, I think the part of why I couldn't get another TV writing job at The Office was because the writers' room was smaller. But I'm really honest about what was happening. I saw my race was certainly a part of it. I met with other shows through program before landing a job on The Office. I was set up so that the studio would pay for a diverse writer's salary for 3 years as a staff writer level. If the writer is promoted during that time, the show's budget would will have to cover the difference. But for the most part, all the shows had to do was hire us. I joined the office as a staff writer, but by the time I left, I was an executive story editor. After I was let go, I met with different shows to find my next job, but then heard afterward they weren't going to use the diversity slot. That was a common thing back then. There were shows basically said we're hiring a writer, but not in the diversity slot. Why do you not want a person of color in the room, especially when it doesn't cost you a thing? Through the diversity program, the studio was basically saying, here's a free person who is skilled, talented, and ready to write for you. For the shows to respond, no, we're cool, really blew my mind. I remember thinking, what are they afraid of in front? What are they afraid of to say in front of a person of color at work? What you think they're afraid to say? That they want to be able to say freely without them being there. So much so they take an opportunity away from someone. Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, I would. Forgot the power. I'm taking it away. You have no power. You have no power. We saw that this week, right? Saw that, right? After the first 3 years, that diversity writer's salary is paid entirely out of the show's budget. So it's uncovered. Oh yeah, I got that one. A lot of biopic writers have dealt with this in LA. They're a staff writer, they're a story editor, and then they have to go back to staff writer because they have moved to a different show once again on a diversity contract. The result is a lot of those mid-level jobs, co-producing, supervising producer, story editor, are missing when you look at black show creators' resumes. If they made it to where they are, it's because they created their own show and got to make the leap to producer level. My family cut costs where we could, and I started looking for jobs outside of Hollywood. All right. At this point, nothing was working. I had a family to support and I needed to make steady money somehow, skills that last a lifetime. I tell you all this every single time when you come here. You need to get skills that can last you at least 10 to 20 years. And really, I'm thinking 20, right? Where you can hop in and out of lanes, right? Where you can hop in and out of lanes. If they having layoffs, you can go to another industry and still use your skills in that. And when I say that, if the startups are having layoffs, you can roll your skill sets over into government contractor. If government contractors having layoffs, you can roll your skills out of government contracting and roll them back into startups. If startups are laying off, you can roll your skills into mid-sized companies, right? You can move around as you will and not have someone dictate to you where you can move around. And that's what y'all have to understand. You have to understand that you have to create a set of skills that are going to last you a lifetime. And I've given you industries that are going to be here the next 10 to 20 years. work in those industries, in and out of those industries as you will, but make your money make money for you. Make your skills make money for you. Have long term skills. If you feel like you want to go out and be an entrepreneur, you can use your skills to go out and be an entrepreneur. You can go do your own government contracting. You can go do and be an entrepreneur with your skill sets and contract yourself out and be a consultant. You can go consulting full time. But understand your skills are the skills that you have and that you acquire and that you maintain for a lifetime so you can move in and out of lanes as you wish, not someone dictating to you what you want to do. That's a difference, right? Go consult or go work for somebody or go 1099 and work for somebody, right? Or start a company or what have you, right? All right. So the next one said we relied as much as we could on my wife's salary. She was the VP of operations at the bank at the time. I had always been interested in teaching, so I reached out to Kaplan to start tutoring SAT prep courses. Again, switching up, right? I still needed more something more steady. Since we moved down the street from a mall, I went to all different stores there and asked who was hiring. That's how I ended up working at Macy's. The main draw for working at Macy's at the mall was it was close to my daughter's school at the time. I could drop her off and then go to work. Even though I had to take these gigs, I didn't give up on my passion. Hmm. I might have been I might have been feeling. I might have been feeling dejected about my career, but I never have asked anything. I was great at my Macy's job. I was always trying to make sure I was helping the team somehow, some way, no matter what I'm doing. I'm very engaged. I never want someone to say, "Oh, I don't want to work with that guy." I wonder why he didn't go into management because he was folding t-shirts. That's why I asked that. That being said, the whole time I was working there, I was wondering whether or not I was ever going to get back into the writer's room. I was dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome during that time. I'd be folding t-shirts and thinking, did being a writer at the office even really happen? Is this going to be the rest of my life? How I'm going to get out of this? I decided I wasn't going to wait for someone else to give me a break. I was going to create my own opportunity. I just had to figure out what the next steps was for what's going to be for me. I had freedom which with these part-time jobs to take meetings or do auditions, so I hustled. I was writing features, working on a web series, and doing improv. I just kept putting myself out there creatively, and then finding ways to keep my brain and as creative as possible. I had to take the first big break. I just had to keep believing that the second one would happen. When I started working on my own projects, I became like a magnet for work. There's something about being active and putting out that creative energy. Other people want to be around that. One of the projects I was working on was helping my friend Laura House pilot her with her pilot for Nickelodeon. We met in a writers workshop. I was in when I first started out and became good friends. We kept each other in the loop with all of our projects because I loved her writing style and she loved mine. Networking, communicating there. Helping with her pilot connected me to Nickelodeon, and I was offered a job at the Thundermans. On the Thundermans, I was finally able to quit my job at Macy's after nearly a year and started making the same pay I had made at the office. I kept tutoring SAT on the weekends for a while, though, just in case. My work on the Thundermans was a year round and lasted 4 seasons. That was the credit that really set up for me because I've been working ever since and that was 2013. I'm currently show running 2 shows in Canada. Season of one I created Shelved, which is an office comedy set in a library in Toronto, and season two of called the Run the Burbs, right? So I hope you all are picking up some lessons here. Drop some lessons that you learned out of this, right? Drop some lessons that you learned out of this. Helmet said, racism faced by me in 2020 cannot be compared to what my grandmother faced working at sugarcane plantation. Got to keep pushing. Exactly. But your skill sets and your networking is going to help you. Also, ownership is going to help you, right? Right. Owning things is going to help you, right? When you keep your skill current, you bring your own positive and profitable atmosphere to any organization. Correct. Multiple streams of income. Correct. Right. But ways to his skills created those multiple streams. Right. Right. You know, again, like I say, if anything happens, if all goes from sugar to shit real quick, I'm gonna go back and just do Linux administration. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit there and be a Linux administrator, right? And we're gonna talk about that on the next show. We're gonna talk. We got the next show. It's gonna be deep. I'm telling you. And when I tell you it's gonna be deep, you know it's gonna be deep. I hadn't lied to you yet. I hadn't lied to you yet. We're gonna really get into it on the next show. Skilling up, networking, using money earned to invest in income producing ventures. Yep. Helping others help me. Correct. Knowledge is a lifelong journey. It sure is. Adversity is not an excuse to neglect learning new skills and new abilities, right? And also the actual diversity programs he was in as well too, right? He was able to take advantage of those. Taking detours as a writer is a great thing. My advice to aspiring writers: don't be afraid to live life because it is all usable eventually. The experience I had as a tutor and working at Macy's became material to me to use in my work. Like I said, I go to these other podcasts, they ain't nothing but material for me. Ain't nothing but material for me. Oh, let me dispute that, right? Oh, you said there are no jobs in the South. Okay, prove me wrong. I can go to Home Depot. We can go to Home Depot. We can go to Delta. We can go to Coca Cola, um, CNN, even though they having layoffs. We can go to Amazon. We can go to all these different companies that are hiring in the South that pay a minimum of 100K. Right? We can go in tech. We're only talking about tech. Right? This person came from an oil field, so that's a limited amount of knowledge of what I'm talking about. Right? You don't understand what I'm talking about. Right? Right? You gotta think. You gotta step outside the box. Everybody ain't gonna be in your field, but you gotta respect what I'm telling you because I'm telling you what's happening. All right, so let's go on to my next one. And this came from the Sun. You know, I'm not a fan of the Sun either. Now, this what it says. Now, this the Sun is reporting, and this actually was on. I think it was on. It actually came off of Business Insider. They related to this. It says raking profit. I'm a teenager. My Costco side hustle earns me $5,000 a month. It involves scanning snack items. All right, so let's go and look at here. See, teenager earning a cap on 5K a month. See, the Sun has that. Form Deadly. Korea, they got it on Korea. Of course, Clark Howard got something to say, but that's not about that. Again, like I say, let's do the fact check. Let's see if you can do that. All right, so let's go read this article. See if it's true. See if it's true. Says how it works. It could be a simple gig. It could net profit 5,000. Will claim that there is a startup cost you would need some funds in the bank to get going. But Will said in regards to the gig, he revealed the easiest way to get in the game is just get a Costco membership. The lowest tier is $60 a month. You would need an Amazon seller account. So he's just taking stuff and reselling it. That's all he's doing. He going to Costco, buying it at their quote unquote wholesale prices, throwing it on Amazon with a markup. So he may buy a box of lollipops You may buy a box of lollipops for whatever, whatever. And he may sell them at 10 a pack and then go from there, right? You may sell them at 10 a pack and go from there. Helmet, you said if Dana Dorsey and AG Gaston could do what they did and face some real shit, most folks these days have not much excuse. Yep, resell on eBay. He's just a reseller. We gotta sell our stuff out of our office, right? So that ain't hard to do, right? Just another way, right? Drop shipping, wholesaling stuff. I mean, reselling stuff. It can be cumbersome. It's a job in itself, to be honest with you, right? Finding out the prices of stuff, how to price it, then taking the picture, then posting it, then advertising that and putting it out there. That could be work. That could be work. All right, so let's shift some gears. I got a lot of stuff to talk about. Got a lot of stuff to talk. Does anybody know why did Apple shares rise 8% on Friday? Did y'all see that? Who invested in Apple? Are y'all invested? I keep trying to tell you. Keep trying to tell you. Why did Apple shares rise nearly 8% on Friday? It's a rock of Gibraltar in big tech. Anybody invested in Apple? That's right, Natasha. Insurance. They just created another revenue stream. They did the bait and switch on y'all. They said, hey, go put these smartwatches on. It's going to tell you all these things that are wonderful. It can help you with your health. And then they was like, we are now an insurance company. We've been collecting health on you anyway. You have been giving it to us for it anyway. Right? Right? So let's get into this article. Hopefully I can get into it. Hold on. My thing not moving. Oh, there we go. All right. Apple AAPL put in strong performance on Fridays. Its share climbed 8%. I'm telling you, for the long run, this may sound ignorant. This may sound ignorant to people. This may sound ignorant to people. I think I'm gonna start dumping 2,000 a month into Apple. That's what I think I'm gonna start doing. You don't have to do what I do. You can buy Apple shares for $5. This is my path, not yours. But I think I'm gonna start putting in 2,000 a month on Apple. I've been watching. I got an account with just Apple in it, and it's been returning me 15, 17, 30%. I'm like, hmm. Every time, every chance I get, I go buy $5, $10, $20, $30. I'm just watching it just to see what it do. I'm watching it, see what it do. That's right, Helmet. What's your returns looking like, Helmet? You've been holding it since iPhone 6. I did speak about this weeks ago. I did speak about it weeks ago. Weeks ago. I took look, they don't listen to me. They don't listen to me. I was like, spoke about it weeks ago. Okay. It says Apple put in a strong performance on Friday. Shares climbed 8% on the back of better than expected quarterly results led by iPhone sales and services. Don Ives and of Wedbush said that Apple proved to be one bright spot in an otherwise horror show week for earnings from big tech companies. The horror show included the depressing results from Meta platforms, Facebook Meta, Google, Microsoft, and Intel, which is having cuts this year, right? As part of Apple on Thursday, reported a fiscal fourth quarter profit of 1.29 a share on a $90.1 billion revenue. Wall Street analysts had previously forecasted Apple to earn $1.27 a share on the sales of 88 billion. Those results included 42.6 billion dollars in iPhone sales and 92 billion dollars in revenue from the company's services business. I'm gonna click on that. I'm gonna open that up in the tab. Apple didn't give a precise earnings on revenue forecast for its current fiscal first quarter. However, eyes called Apple APPL a rock of Gibraltar and a clear standout among tech companies going into the end of the year. Wall Street analysts have a consensus buy rating Apple stock, while seeking Apple authors paid the company shares at a hold. Right now, I'm buying. I don't know what Seeking Alpha talking about. I'm buying. I'm buying and holding. It's been crazy. And let me say that in a short while, in a short while this year, you've been up 9.74%. Yep. Engineering cameras, big data, the power of predictive algorithms from Apple Watch and the phone, taking your purchasing data and health data. Yeah, I mean, and then we got the insurance. They're coming out with the insurance. Not only are they going to be coming out with their insurance, but now you got to think about the person who may be, and you got to look at it from this perspective. Let's give it from this perspective. If I'm a 1099 person, right, and I don't want to go buy these big conglomerates or get insurance for someone else, and I got a smartphone, I got an Apple phone, I got an Apple Watch, I got a Mac laptop. Why wouldn't I just enroll into the Apple program, right? And Apple, and look, and if Apple is doing what I think they're gonna do, if they doing what I think they're gonna do, watch out for Apple to start offering uh targeted date funds and annuities and being an insurance company on the side. They got all the data in the world in order to be an insurance company. All the data in the world to start offering annuities, to start offering uh, um, uh, just anything along the insurance product line, right? They already know they know more, probably more about the consumer than what the insurance companies themselves know about people, right? At a granular level, right? At a granular level, like your what you're watching on TV, how often you're watching, you're exercising, what you do throughout the day. And if I was Google, I'd be doing the same play too. I would be doing the same play too. If I was Google, I would be offering car insurance. If I was Google, I would be offering car insurance. Google Maps, your route to work, how long you're on the road, your travel, your destination. Oh, and let me add this in. Apple AirTags as well too. So Apple could probably play a hand in having car insurance as well too. Just saying, just saying, right? Watch it says watch Apple going in equipment design in the medical field and creating Apple Watch medical equipment for scanning. No doubt, right? Donald Watt says, this insurance plan is excellent, especially for me, because I think my health insurance will be really cheap. Yeah. So think of the reward that Apple could offer to people who have their phone and their watches and whatnot, and they're working out. And so they're like, hey, if you consistently work out for a year or you do this plan, and some insurance companies already do this, we'll give you a discount of X, Y, and Z if you do this. But think if I was Google, right? And I know where you drive to and from this, that, and other. I could offer you better car insurance rates, right? I'm already getting speeds. I already get speeds of how fast you get there from the time you left until you got there. I already know the distance and I already know how fast you're driving, right? Right. So if I was Google, I'd be getting into a car insurance play or partner with someone, right? Right. So if I was Google, if I'm looking for another cash flow, that's where I'll be looking for a cash flow at. That'd be a play for me. Not so much as Apple. No one uses Apple for driving. At least I don't. I just a Google Maps, Waze, or something like that, or maybe some. Did they get bought? Did Waze get bought? Did they get bought yet? I don't know. Did Waze get bought? Yeah, yeah. Waze bought by Google. Yeah, Waze bought by Google. Yeah, 2013. It's 1.3 billion. So even better. They already bought ways. They already know traffic patterns, right? I'll be doing car insurance. That'll be a play. That would be an absolute play. If I was Google, I'll be doing car insurance. They do car insurance. Apple does healthcare insurance, right? Watch incentives on purchasing Apple products tied with health insurance. Yep. Some big companies aren't sexy, but Microsoft 5 years ago stock was $73. Yep. Plus they pay dividend. Aristocrats and kings, my people. Aristocrats and kings. Get into them. Get into the aristocrats and kings. Whatever y'all know this, if you've been here coming here all this year, I know I've talked about this a lot of times. Aristocrats and kings. And we got aristocrats and kings and champions. But I've been talking about this for a very, very long time. For a very, very long time. Let's go here so you know what I'm talking about. What is a aristocrat? An aristocrat is um a dividend aristocrat is a company on the S&P 500 that not only consistently pays dividends to its shareholders, but its annual increases the size of its payouts, right? A company will be considered a dividend aristocrat if it raises its dividends consistently for at least 25 years. Some aficionados of dividend aristocrats rank them according to additional factors such as company size and liquidity. For instance, having a market capitalization in excess of 3 billion. So if you want to be conservative, we saw what happened this week, right? Y'all saw that the iBond website crashed on the 28th, right? It crashed on Wednesday. Actually, it was like no more. We can't take no more. We and in fact, it said the website wasn't designed to take that many people coming in because you know why? Because people wanted that 9.62%. We know inflation is high, but this is guaranteed. This is guaranteed. Guaranteed to get you 9.62. People want that. So if you're one of those ones that's conservative and you're like, hey, I'm not investing into stuff, well, I don't know where it's at. Go with the aristocrats and kings. This is not financial advice. These are just things I've discovered along the way. Give me to maybe March of next year. I have my Series 65. I gotta study. I gotta study. I've already purchased my class from Kaplan. I got my Series 65 info. I'm ready. Boom. But what I'm saying to you is if you're ultra conservative and you don't like to play with your money, go pick the top performing kings and aristocrats and just stay there. Just stay there. It's safe. They've been performing for 25 years with increasing dividends and 50 years with increasing dividends. That's what a king is. Aristocrat is 25. It's safe. It's safe. Safe bet. If you don't know what the aristocrat, who's on the aristocrat list, let me pull it up here. Doo-doo-doo. Let me see. So here's some examples of AT&T is off. That's not true. Exxon Mobil, Walgreens, Boots Alliance, ABBV, AbbVie, IBM, 3M, and Caterpillar. You've heard of these companies before, right? Those are just some. And then they talk about advantages and disadvantages. You can read through this all you want, right? Right? It gives a summary. Dividends may be paid in lieu of growth opportunities. Dividend stocks may produce lesser capital gains. Dividend payments are taxable events, right? Again, seek financial advisors. Go find an enrolled agent and get into it, right? Yeah, it crashed Wednesday. Bond market way up. Yep. Right? So with that being said, let me pull this up. Let me see how much time I got. I got 6 minutes. Cause I got a lot of stuff on this paper. I got a lot of stuff on this paper. Hold on. When I say I got a lot, let me show you. Let me show you what my topics. Look at my topics here. These are TAM topics. When I tell you I'll be having a lot to discuss, I got a lot to discuss. This is right. I got a lot to discuss. My topics. Look at that. Look at that. Dividends, mortgages. What happened with Twitter? What's going on over there? We didn't even get into that. We'll talk about that on the other show. We could talk about it on the tech show. I got clips. I got taxes stuff we need to go over. Right. We got more on this race. Right. 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 Does influence matter? Right. I got a lot. I got a lot. The South got something to say. The South got something to say. South got something to say. Let me see what D talking about. No, we gonna stop. All right. I want to pull this up. Hold on, let me get this link together. Do 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 do. We're happy and we're in and we're color. Give me a high five. All right, let me down. I think I need to download it so I can open it up. Yeah. All right, I'm ready. So this was in a Slack, my fun Slack, right? But it had some important stuff in here that I want to share. All right, so we're gonna keep going here. We're gonna. This is a good one, but we ain't gonna stay here long. You've seen this before. You've seen GDP from the U.S. is 22.94. China is 16.9. I mean 16.86. We've seen this before, right? Y'all seen this before, right? GDP of the countries, and that's of 2020. This has probably changed, right? But let's keep going because this is not what I'll. These are definitions. That's not what I wanted to show you. This is what I wanted to show you right here. Let me actually make this bigger here. Right. All right. The bond market, since we were talking, right? And it talks about the primary market, issue dealers and investors, secondary market, dealers and investing, when we talk about bond trading and bond maturity, issues and investors. But what I want to show you is two more slides about this, right? Uh, see, Natasha said, talking about the South, they gave my hometown sheriff in Columbus County. Got done here today this week. Oh, got you, got you, got you. All right, so let's go. Types of bonds, right? Because I know y'all hear people be talking about bonds and stuff, but what are the different types? You have, and this may be coming in a little blurry. Let me blow it up a little more. Move it over. There we go. You have treasury bonds, types of bond securities. You have treasury bonds, U.S. government bonds, investment grade corporate bonds, high yield corporate bonds, foreign bonds, mortgage backed bonds, and municipal bonds. Did y'all know that there were these different types of bonds? You probably won't get this information from the person that you first started out with that's not good financially and has a not so favorable credit score. Probably won't get that information from that person. Yeah, you might. They may know. They might have had 90. They might have had 10 bankruptcies on everything. So you never know. Chapter 7, chapter 11. right? So did y'all know that these are the different the different bond markets, right? Did you know about the different types of bond securities? You heard people talking about it, but you probably ain't never paid attention to it, right? All right, the next one was that I saw that was important. We're gonna skip that, skip that, we're gonna skip that, we're gonna skip that. This is good about credit ratings, but we won't talk about that right now. This is what I want to show right here. And let me make it a little smaller so you can get on the screen. So we talked about those bonds, right? The title of this one is showing like, okay, here's your risk if you keep going to the far, far right, your chance of losing money and then expected return. So being conservative are treasury bills. If you're gonna go into the bond market and invest in treasury bills, say you're gonna invest in treasury bonds, then you may want to move to corporate bonds. But you remember now, your risk of losing money goes up, but also your expected return goes up, right? So that's why you see US stocks up here, European stocks, and then emerging markets. Most of you probably play right in here in the US stocks. You probably don't even go into European stocks and emerging markets for investments. And then you got corporate bonds. But I just wanted to show you from a perspective of what the risks are and so forth. Right? Skit, you can take a screenshot of that so you have an idea. And then I would implore you to go look at bonds and see what the hell is a bond. Do y'all know what a bond is? D got it in the chat, but did you know before that, right? Right. The bond market. Bond is a market is a financial market where participants can issue new debt known as primary market or buy and sell debt securities known as secondary market, right? Understand that. And then understand how, because I don't know if you ever seen stuff come out. They were like, hey, this company just bought such and such debt, or you'll see it on PitchBook. They'll say, hey, this company bought such and such debt, or this company bought such and such debt, or something of that nature. They do that all the time. They do it all the time. Let me get out of big screen mode here. Um, Buying companies, buying debt, right? All the time. Find a company, find a debt buying company. Right here, what happens when a company buys debt? When a debt has been purchased in full by a collection agency, the new account owner will usually notify the debtor by phone or in writing. Selling or transferring debt from one creditor or collector to another can happen without your permission. And then they got it right here. What happens when my debt is sold to a collection agency? And that's from Equifax, right? So companies buy debt all the time. Debt buyers. It's from Investopedia. A debt buyer is a company that purchases debt from creditors at a discount. Debt buyers, such as collection agencies or a private debt collector, buy delinquent or charged off debt at a fraction of the debt's face value. The debt buyer then collects on the debt either on its own or through hiring or a collection agency, or resells portions of the debt, and any combination of these alternatives. Right? It happens all the time. Another revenue stream is to go buy somebody debt and then have your people go try to collect the debt. And then you negotiate that debt. Like if you owe 15,000, you might be like, hey, let's negotiate. I pay you 7. Well, they might not have bought that debt for that much, right? They might not have bought that debt for that much, right? You're pawns in the game. That's all. You're just a pawn. Finances don't matter. Finances don't matter. Be broke and happy. Be broke and happy. Stop playing with y'all. But again, debt collection. So understanding how bonds work. What people do with bonds. What are you able to do with bonds? We'll do a deeper dive on this. Probably we gotta do a binary hustlers. We gotta talk about this on binary hustlers. We gotta get binary hustlers up and going. D won't have no shirts. Won't have no milk, no cereal. It's just like going to the Jamaican restaurant. You got jerk, no chicken. You got curry, no goat. Going to McDonald's. Going to give me some ice cream. You got the machine, but it don't work. It's like going to the car wash. We can't wash your car, but we can clean the inside out. We can wash your car, but we ain't got no towels. What you saying? It's all the same, right? All the same, right? So I again, we're gonna stop this show. I told you, you see how much I had to go. The next show, I ain't even written the next show yet. I tell you, I have it in my head. I need to write it, but I know exactly what I want to talk about. Right? Some of the stuff is in my inbox, ready for you. Oh yeah, we'll talk about it on the other show. We'll talk about West Virginia on the other show. We're gonna talk about it on the other show. Talk about jobs, money, skills. I promise I won't bring up finances and sexless marriages. Maybe. D in the back, like, what is all of that, D? All right, y'all. If you're 300K, 500K earners, go check out the videos. Leave us your thoughts. Thank you, everybody, for donating this morning. Your time, your energy, your money, and also as well as your thoughts. Right? Your thoughts are important to us. Right? You're one skill away from 200K. Let's get there. Those that are at 200K, let's get to three, four, five, six. 1 mil, 2 mil. Come on now. Congratulations, Stephen Day. Which cloud are you working on? Let me guess. AWS. Oh, Melissa, well, you need to come to the show so we can talk about West Virginia. Ding, 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 ding. Stephen Day, what cloud you working on? What cloud you working on? Let me guess. I'm told you, like I said, it's gonna be AWS. That's what all y'all come back with. AWS. Y'all don't realize the AWS is it's nice. You don't realize that you get paid in Google and Microsoft. I know. You don't want to believe it though. You won't believe it till I show you facts. Good, Darius. You're learning Azure. That's good. Which part of Azure are you learning? Azure Cloud, or you doing Azure Security? What's the goal there? What's your end game there? Melissa, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. We drove through West Virginia in a day. D didn't want to stay the night. D was scared. GCP. I'm saying GCP is easy. In fact, I'm gonna bring up some jobs on GCP. I'm bringing up some jobs. They hiring. Okay, Bluefield. I got you. Oh yeah, you wait till I bring up these jobs on GCP. Yeah, Dee didn't want to spend the night in West Virginia. She was like, "Let's go. We ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to go." It's like, Dee, this is my new home. I need to get familiar with it. Oh yeah, the mountain driving to West Virginia is beautiful. But Dee was like, we ain't staying here. What's that show? Wrong. Oh yeah, she feel like she was in a movie scene from Wrong Turn. She felt like she was in the movie scene from The Wrong Turn. Natasha, ain't nobody ask you. This what D thought was gonna be there when we got there. Put it on the screen, D. D thought people was gonna look like this when we got there. This is what she was thinking. She thought people was gonna look like this. I like D. That is not how. This is not what people be looking like in West Virginia. People do not just look like this, Dion. It's not how people look. Look, she thought we was gonna drive up there and be faced with this. You gonna eat your cornbread? We went to Clarksburg. We drove through Morgantown, Clarksburg. We drove through all of them. We'll talk about it on the next show. We'll talk. Yeah, the hills have eyes. One and two, right? So let's get busy. Let's get deep ready for the next show. We got a lot of stuff I'm gonna be dropping on the show. Jobs, training. I'll probably bring up part of the clip from Stephen Day. Not Stephen Day. I'm looking at you, not Stephen Day. But James, hiring managers, a whole bunch of stuff, right? The stereotypes of West Virginia are just like the stereotypes for black folks. Oh yeah. I appreciate you, DB Darrell. What's going on with you, man? D is right. I would rather be paranoid and wrong versus too comfortable and chopped up in a suitcase. Why y'all gotta be chopped up in a suitcase? I swear. You know what? Let me tell you something. Ain't nobody more dramatic than a black person, right? They like, if you want to get a black person to run, just start running. We not gonna ask questions like what we running for, like, oh, what everybody running for? We just gonna start running. We don't know why we running. We'll figure it out later. David Darrell, I'm mad that is a $20 super chat on D is right. I would rather be paranoid and wrong versus too comfortable and chopped up in the suitcase. Shout out to DB Darrell for the $20 super chat on the foolishness. Shout out. We appreciate you. Trust me. If you ever seen us at any concert event and stuff like that, we be like, everybody be like, "Ooh, they fighting over there. Where they fighting at? Well, girl, we gotta go. They gonna pull out a gun. You know they crazy. It's time to go there. Then start fighting." I think this Dion rule. I think that, but this is true though. Dion rule is once they start letting y'all in the club with tennis shoes on, it's over. Should never let y'all in with tennis shoes on. Once y'all get y'all tennis shoes on, it's over. Gotta keep y'all in hard bottoms and high heels. Once we start letting you in the club with tennis shoes on, y'all got on a Gucci outfit with your Gucci shoes, your Gucci tennis shoes. Once we start letting you in with tennis shoes on, it's over. You don't need to know how to act. I can't get no creases in my J's. Once we let y'all in with Timberlands and J's, so it ain't the same. You know it's bad when you go to the club, right? And they was like, you order a beer, and they's like, oh, we can't give you the glass bottle. We just gonna pour it in the cup. So now you walking around with this hot cup because they done poured your beer in the cup because you can't have glass. Oh God, I could go on about the clubs, right? Where y'all be serving Moscato for $250 a bottle. Then let me stop. You were like, we got wine, we got some Moscato. Oh boy, let me stop. We got vodka. What kind of vodka you got? What's the common ones? We got Ciroc in a little small skinny bottle for 250, and we got what's that old kettle one, and what's the other one? It's another one. Or it's another vodka that I'm like, why is this $250? Then y'all want to come out with the girls, right? Everybody want to ball. Everybody want to ball. Everybody want a light show. Everybody want a light show. Pinnacle, it's another one. It's not. It's another one. It's gross though. It's gross though. It's another one. Ciroc, Pinnacle, but it's another one. I can't think of the kettle one, and it's another one that they always say they got. Stop taking y'all money over there and spending it on that crap. Absolute, yeah. And then they get y'all. Then they get y'all the famous. Don't hate on six dudes going in on one bottle for 350. Ain't nobody hating because this is what y'all do. I love it. Let me talk about it for a second. I love this part. This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of the club. The girls come out with the bottles. The guys be standing up there. Y'all come. I don't know. I don't know why y'all men. I don't know why y'all do this. I don't know. Y'all come to the edge of your section, right? And this is my favorite part. Let me hold on. Let me get myself together here. Oh man, I don't have my other shades up here. It's all good. I got these shades. Y'all come to the end of the section. Y'all and because you have spent this money on this Gucci belt, and you spent this money on this Gucci belt, and you spent this money on this uh uh whatever belt, right? So y'all took your pants in, and so your belt be showing, and then y'all come up to the edge, and then y'all have y'all bottle, I mean your glass of your plastic cup. Let me say it right. You have your plastic cup with your straw, your little black straw in it, and then y'all come up to the edge and y'all stand there and y'all do like this. I don't know what that stance is, and you come up to the edge and y'all got your glasses on and your belt on, and y'all be like, y'all just stand there and look, right? Like, you see us, you see me, you see me and my boys bought these bottles, and then they come over with a cranberry juice, they Sprite, and cranberry juice, Sprite, and water and orange juice, and maybe like 20 cups and some ice. And then and then y'all stand there, and then y'all look at the women, and you be like, it's my favorite part right here. You want a drink? I be like, nah, I already got one. I already got one. I did not. What kind of drink are you gonna make me off of this vodka and cranberry, or vodka and orange juice and vodka? No, no, I'm good. I don't want no headache. My other favorite one is, you want to come up here with us? It's six guys, and now you got to determine if you worthy, if that woman is worthy to come up in the section with you, And this happens, right? This happens all the time. The guys look at the girl, right, and her crew, and then he pick and choose. He I had friends tell me this, right? This ain't happened to me, but I had friends tell me this, like, if she go out, she can't go out with no whack crew because the whole crew can't go in the section. So guys will be like you can come, but your other three girls can't. They ain't cute enough. You can come up here and sit with us and rock with us, but your other three girls can't come up here. Or two of them can come and whatnot or whatever. Or if they do come up in the section, like I'm gonna talk to you, but your girls need to go over there on the other side. Of it. These sections don't really be that big. Y'all ain't sitting nothing but on a half a sectional, a third of a sectional. So. The stance, the choosing poles, and these engineering cameras saying that stance is we're marketing the rent money we just spent. Yep. You don't miss the day. I'm just saying. You said nothing wrong with vodka and cranberry or vodka and orange juice. Man, look, it ain't no drink. It's just it ain't no drink, man. Shit, by the time you pour out, and look, because the bottle be so small, by the time y'all pour the vodka, you gotta fill it up with all that cranberry juice and orange juice they done bought over there. They done bought you a decanter. They damn near bought you a gallon of orange juice and damn near a gallon. So you just so you just really just putting a drop in there. You just be like it, and then the rest is orange juice or cranberry juice or Sprite or whatever it is that you go with. That's right. A third of the sessional with years of booty sweat. Yep. Man, let me tell you, you should be getting monkey pots out the clubs now. You should be getting monkey pots out the club now. The way they be treating these sectionals and stuff, I don't know nobody that go behind these sectionals and wipe them down. They just clean the area and be ready. I don't know. I don't know. I've never cleaned the club before, but I ain't never really seen the club clean as far as the sectionals go. I don't see nobody going by with no Febreze or nothing like that. I ain't never seen that. They just like they gonna sit there Rudy Pooty on back on there tomorrow. So I ain't never seen that, right? Well, the trend now is the girls will bring their friends and you end up paying for all of them. Look, I don't know. When I go out, I don't like half of the drinks in the club anyway, so I just get me a bottle of Prosecco. I don't like half the drinks in the club anyway, so most bartenders can't bartend. Most bartenders make whack drinks, and they gonna be with. It's just look. Is it me? Or can you look at a bartender and tell that a bartender is just gonna be whack? Can you just look at a person and be like, "Oh, that's she gonna be a whack bartender, or he gonna be a whack bar? He gonna make whack drinks." Can you do that? Cause I can. I be looking at them like the whackness is oozing out of them on this drink making. Mm, this ain't gonna be good. You better stick to something simple. Orange. Just give me orange juice. You better stick to something simple. Thought it was just me. All right. I'm done acting a fool. I'm done, D. I'm done, D. I know, the show got derailed, but it's just funny to me. It's just funny to me. These are things that are funny. Because I got my stomach shades on, because that's how y'all be acting in the club. Y'all be in the club like, can't you see what you do to me? Our love was meant to be. You were made for me. Y'all be like, every time I see you, get this feeling. Oh yeah. Yeah, I come through the club. You just don't know what you do to me. Doom doo doo doom doo doo doom doo doo doom doom. Everybody want to be Big Papa. Everybody want to be Big Papa. Everybody want to be Diddy. Take that. Take that. Everybody. It's very rare you get a man on the dance floor and want to be Chris Brown. I Hey, if a man get on the dance floor and Chris Brown, it's very rare. What do you say? You see, Donna Watts, you said you went to the hookah bar on a day where Young Dro was coming through. Woo, did you have on your polo from head to toe? If you ain't have on no polo, you ain't a Young Dro friend. You ain't had no polo on. You ain't got your polo on. You ain't got your classic polos on. You ain't a Young Dro friend, right? Every seating area turned into a booth, and they tried to charge me $700. That's right, $700. Hey, growing up in Atlanta, this is true. No, no lie. Growing up in Atlanta Live. Diddy come in. He got his people. Soon as you hear Diddy, what they do at the door? $1,000 to get in. General admission. 3,000 on the VIP. And if you want to break the line, it's gonna be at least 200-300 ahead. You don't want to go VIP, but you want to break the line. Yeah. 112 was the same way. 112 was the same way. Break the line at 112. $100 ahead, $200 ahead. Oh, you want to go in the back door? Oh, you want to go in through the back? You want to drop a rack. I'm trying to tell you. It's the easiest come up ever. And my favorite part is I hate it. These are two things I hate because they do it all the time. They'll keep you standing outside in the cold. The club be empty just to get people to come in the parking lot because the people want to see what's going on. So they stand you all outside, right? Stand you all outside. Hey, y'all had the women standing out there in 5 and 6 inch heels. It's 20 degrees, 10 degrees outside in Atlanta. Hey, y'all standing outside so the men can walk up and talk, blah blah blah. Woo woo woo. And I love it. You men, I love y'all. I love y'all. Y'all ego is amazing. Men, y'all ego is amazing. Ain't nothing like a man that got to be seen. I love it. You know what y'all do? Y'all walk up, y'all be standing in the line, or y'all look through the line. This is my favorite because men walk around, they look through the line, they looking at every woman, this, that, and another. And then what y'all do? Y'all be like, I'm going in the VIP. You want to go with me? Bring you and your girl. I got y'all. Pluck them out the line because your ego, man, your ego got it. You be like, you see me with these bad prods. I'm coming through. Doom, 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 doom. Y'all go ahead and go on in. VIP, you be like, babe, stick with me. You gonna go places. Stick with me, you gonna go places. And look, let me tell you something. Man. And don't be offended. Not all of y'all are cute. And not all y'all have y'all teeth. So if the guy who doing all the willing and dealing is the primary guy and he prick his primary girl, it's up to the wing girls to try to pick and choose who she gonna hold up with the other guys. Right? And so now you gotta pick and choose the guy who got the scruffy beard. He ain't had no haircut. He got bad breath. You be like, you want a mint? Here, you need to drink some of this. Let me stop. Let me stop. I can go on about this all day long. It happens in every single club, in every single city. I see it all the time. It cracked me up. It cracked me up. Parking your car in the VIP section, you know, I see it, I get it. You exclusive. You pull up, you get out. Everybody know you. Blah 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 blah. I get it. I get it. I'm just telling you what happens. I love it. I love y'all. You my favorite. But y'all egos at the club to get in, that shit be cracking me up. You show up with your entourage. It may be y'all may be 10 deep. You like, we got this section up in here. I see you. I get it. DM my line. No, not one lie. If I'm lying, put a two in the comment. If I'm lying. If I'm telling the truth, put a one. I'm telling you. It happens. And so you get to the club. If you live in Atlanta or DC, you already spent $200 just to get to the club. Off the rip. We ain't even talking about your outfit. Right? You already spent $200. You spent you spent probably like $50 or $100 for parking, depending on what you're going to. You done spent another 50 to 100 to get in. Oh, and you big balling and you splurging for the crew, for the team, and you done paid the VIPs. You already out a grand minimum. And you turn around, be out a grand minimum, and you still get in there and you still buying more drinks or you still doing more, right? Not to mention you hungry. They got chicken wings, they got French fries, they got chicken tenders. They got food. They serving food up in there. I don't know why people think it's cool to serve food in a club and the table be all the way on the floor, and then you ain't got nowhere to sit, have your food to sit and eat, and then you got hot wings. So now you cute in the club in 6-inch heels, eating a chicken finger or some chicken or some French fries. You got to keep it cute. What happened? Grease get all on your face. You really ain't got nowhere to sit. And even if you do sit down, just like just like Donald Watts said, you got booty sweat on your dress. I just said, strip club lamb chops are the best. See, I'm just saying, like I'm just telling you what happens when you go to the club. Then let me tell you the other side. Let me tell you the other side. When you go to the other establishments, don't stand on my furniture. That's not allowed. You ain't standing on the furniture. You're gonna have a nice table, and you're gonna probably have a waitress dedicated to your section. You know, in our spots, we got to flag down the girl. And here's another thing I don't like. I don't like ordering drinks from the waitresses that come through and they bringing me back my drink, and they doing like this, and my drink is all exposed to the elements and stuff like that. I don't know where you got that drink from, and I don't know if you ain't looking to see if somebody slipped something in my drink. You ain't looking. Somebody could be up there and Jeffrey Dahmer me. No, I do not like ordering drinks from waitresses. It's not my thing. I do actually prefer the bottle. At least it's closed and you pop it when it get there. Keep the side cranberry juice. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that cranberry juice came from or that orange juice came from. Keep that on the side. In fact, give me a can of Coke. I'm opening it myself. Give me a can of I pay extra. Give me a can of Coke and a can of Sprite. I pay extra. All right. I ain't gonna give you my side or the other side. I'm gonna stop right there. Let's get on with the new show, D Block. Let's go to the next show. I'm done, y'all. I'm done. I'm done. I can't do it no more. I can't do it no more. I don't want to. I can't do it no more. All right, we're gonna see y'all in the next show. Y'all be ready. I promise. I promise we won't come 10 deep in the club. I see y'all next show.